Okay, exhibition booth listeners, prepare for a lively debate. I'm your host, Marie Louise, and after 2 decades of helping people make a splash at trade shows, I've developed some strong opinions, especially around booth swag. Today, we're joined by Ethan Dowie, the founder and CEO of Indigo Promotions. Ethan and his team elevate brands with high-quality branded merchandise, working with some major global players. A huge part of his business is providing swag for exhibitions, which, if you know me, is where we might have a slight disagreement. I've seen too much of it left behind. But Ethan's here to change my mind because this is his core business. Now, Ethan and I connected through the amazing Dan Martell. Big shout out to Dan for his incredible business guidance. And Ethan's going to convince me and you why branded merchandise is essential for trade show success. Whether you're a trade show veteran or a newbie, get ready for a fascinating discussion that could change the way you approach your next booth. Hi, Ethan. How are you?
What's going on, Marie? Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
How New York is at the moment?
A little bit too chilly for my blood, if I'm being quite honest.
I understand you've got a business called Indigo Promotions. Can you tell me a little bit about your business?
Yeah, so at Indigo, we create all types of branded merchandise. I always tell people any piece of merch that you can envision is something that we can create. And it's very interesting because it's almost like we live in this world of creativity where an idea, we're the ones responsible for turning it into a tangible product. And that's exactly what we do. We try to keep it as simple as possible, but people will come to us with all these crazy projects, simple projects that of stuff they want created, and we're really there almost like branded merch consultant to help them brainstorm, but then also help them get all the items created.
Do they come in and ask you to do a big mascot of a banana and things like that and put their logo on it?
Done everything from a simple tote bag to making custom vending machines with an interactive screen. It's pretty endless with the amount of stuff we can do. It's how creative somebody can get, though, in their thinking of what they want to come up with.
Okay. You do a whole range of products then. What's the most popular product that you have?
I would say we're 60% apparel versus hard goods, 60-40 or so. The apparel and bags are always going to be the most popular items that we have, just because for events and for team branding and uniforms, it always tends to come up. But in terms of hard goods, I'd say drinkware is one of our most popular categories as well. And then it's almost everything else after that is like the 10% and under range of what we sell.
I know that you do a lot of exhibitions and you have a lot of clients that do exhibitions. Can you give me your experiences at an exhibition and can you tell me what you've found, what's positive about exhibitions and what not as positive?
Well, I think merch in general or swag or whatever word you want to call it at these trade shows and exhibitions and really just events in general, it's become the type of item that people know they need, but I don't feel like they necessarily know why they need it. And I think that misunderstanding is leading a lot of people and a lot of teams and attendees to think about it the wrong way and not really get an ROI for what they're spending. I feel like over the past few years, it's become just a must have, but nobody knows why, and nobody knows really how to use it effectively. And that's one of the areas that we're always telling people. They'll come to us with their idea, and we always try to make sure we have their vision ironed out so that we can then add to it and then enhance it and make it as good as possible.
We've had a discussion before. I'm not a fan of giveaways because I find they're not used properly or they're bought and they're just discarded at the end of the shows. I see them on the ground in the bins, and I feel that people don't use them properly or they don't think about it. They just get them done and go, oh, this will help me get my brand out there. Can you give me how should people actually use them on an exhibition stand?
It's all, and what you just said is crucial to the point right there. If you find something on the floor of a swag item that's yours of that you made, you did something wrong. It's not that the person taking it, whether they're littering or not, it's not that they did anything wrong. If it's ending up on the floor, you did something wrong in the planning. And it's all about reverse engineering the experience. You want to take it from the end to the point where you're giving it to them and saying, okay, what do I want to have happen once that person has my merchandise in my hand? It's too simple of a thing for people to get wrong because right now they're thinking, hey, I just need pens. But why do you need the pens? What do you want them to do with it? For me, I almost always have a pen with me and actually have one in my office. And the magic pen, I call it, it has a special little chip at the end of it where when I give it out, it scans and brings people right to my website page. And I love that because it's just a needed touch point so that they can take that pen and now I'm in their mind because they're at my website and they can see all my cool products. I just feel like people don't reverse engineer it to saying, hey, what do I want this person to do with the merchandise? And that's really where the genius of merch comes into play. Because if you can design a step-by-step guide of, okay, I want to give them this pen, then I want them to go to the website, then I want them to watch the video on my website. You just took a piece of merchandise, a $1 pen, and perhaps sold them on a $50,000 service, whatever it is. That's the whole goal, and that's how you reap the best ROI every single time.
That's just blown my mind because I didn't know a branded pen could do that. That's just amazing. What other advice would you give people getting giveaways, merch, swag for their upcoming exhibition stands?
Another simple one, and I say this all the time, but I just feel like it drives a point home. It is quality over quantity. I can't say that enough. And I'll give you the best exhibition example that I've seen. There's tons of people that just let's order $10,000 worth of merchandise and see what happens, give it out to everybody. But there's no mission with it. But then I've seen people, they have, okay, let's buy one amazing item and let's do a raffle. Oh, you know what? On top of the raffle, let's make an interactive element in some way. We'll put a basketball hoop here and we'll do that. Everybody gets 3 free throws. And if you make 2 of them, then you get to put your ticket in the bowl and then we'll make a drawing at the end of it. And it's fun, like it's interactive. And all of a sudden, at this professional trade show, people are shooting hoops and playing basketball. They're like, wait a minute, what's happening over here? I feel like it gets people into your zone of what you're doing there. And then that's your chance to pitch them on what you actually want to sell them on. And I don't think people think of it like that. It's just you have to take it deeper than surface level to make it work. And I just don't feel like enough people are doing it. And I can tell because when I'm at these trade shows, you can always tell who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong. It's a very firm line in the middle. And it's funny to see because I always want to walk up to them and be like, just do this. You'll have more people at your booth. It works every time. And I don't see that enough nowadays.
You've got to create excitement, and excitement brings people in. I have a stand that is constantly busy with attendees. That sales team is just selling and they're giving things away and they're talking and they make a lot of money at this show. And if you don't create excitement, no one's going to come. It's a rubbernecking thing. It's when you see a car crash on the side of the road, we all look, right? Oh, there's noise, there's action, there's stuff going on. So, using your swag, your merchandise, and the basketball hoop and doing a competition just creates buzz and it creates an environment where people want to be involved. Many years ago, I built a stand for an insurance company who used an old car slot machines. And the minute people saw this thing on the stand, they're like, oh, let's play. And they're constantly playing, and there was crowds and crowds of people. Ethan, you've got the right idea. Telling your clients you've got to create a buzz and use your products to create that buzz.
And there's so much you can tie in. I think the difficult part is that it's so endless that you have to really you can't just, okay, hey Amy, go order the merch for this year's trade show. You can do it, but you're never gonna get as good of an ROI as if you were planning it out every step of the way. And that's really where my company comes into play because people are like, hey, what is the point of Indigo? That's the
Yeah.
point. It's so you don't have to do all the thinking yourself and you can lean on us for the thinking. And it becomes this ping pong match of figuring out what type of creative element we want to use and, what merch makes sense for your vision.
On saying that, if I was doing a trade show in a couple of months, I'm only a small vendor and I wanted to have branded merch. What type of plan do we use for using merchandise at a trade show?
I always start, my first question is usually, what is your goal? I'll say, is the goal to get more clients? Is the goal to have a bunch of conversations and dot, dot, dot? It's always starting with the goal so that I understand how we need to use the merchandise and what experience we're trying to create. It might just be we want as much buzz at the booth as possible. We're at the show every year and we don't feel like we have any presence as a big company. That's a very viable answer to what is your goal question. Once we have the goal in mind, then I would say, can we get any theme going here? Is there any theme of the product so that no matter what you're ordering, whether it's a pen, a bag, a water bottle, whatever it is there anything we could kind of have as the reoccurring theme for the whole entire project? Then step three is, okay, we got a theme and we have the goal. Let's throw a bunch of products on a presentation and figure out which ones you like yourself and which ones you could see your clients or your prospects or your audience of to some level liking. And then that alone, those three elements to me create a very positive back and forth. And we never end where we started. So like the goal and the vision and the presentation and the theme starts in one place, but just having that is the important part because then all of a sudden somebody on the other side on the team of the client, my client would say, I like this one, but what if bang, now they have their idea, they get it. They understand what the point of the merchandise is and they started in one spot, but they ended in another that then obviously we can create for them. But just seeing all the items listed out and kind of getting them thinking of what can we hand out, what can we hand out and then get them to go to our website with. It's a whole experience that we have ourselves as at Indigo that then gets them to their end goal of having a stronger vision, which is
Well,
one of our goals. Get them to have the strongest vision possible. So we know that we're going to create something great for them that isn't just going to be meh, like, okay.
there you have it, folks. You got to plan your giveaways, your swag, your merchandise. Ethan knows his stuff, as you can see. Ethan, tell me, what are you up to in 2025?
I knew going into 2025 it was going to be a year of growth. My team is growing. We're bringing on more people as the months go by, and we're taking on more complicated projects as well. And that's a very interesting note because I feel like years ago, and I mentioned this on my social media a lot, it was so simple. It was, hey, I need a hat. This is my logo. Let me go make that for me. Perfect. Go done. And now we're seeing more complex projects come into our pipeline that are very logistically challenging. Right now, we're working on a project for a big brand that requires us to take 10 different items, ship them to a fulfillment center, make boxes, get the items in the boxes, make them look pretty, drop ship them to 200 people on the East Coast. And with every complexity at Indigo, we have to level up. My team has to level up, I have to level up, and I have to raise my complexity ceiling so that I can always be able to handle these types of requests. And I feel like if we're not constantly leveling up, then my company's going in the opposite direction, which I never want. So it's really just continuing to educate myself and my team to educate themselves so that we're prepared for all the complex projects that are constantly coming our way.
Do you use a software to track all your projects?
Oh, we'd be lost without shout out to commonsku. That's one of the best promotional product softwares in existence.
Wow.
And without that, we wouldn't be able to do it, honestly. It's funny because when I started my business in 2021, I ran it off of Google Docs and QuickBooks. There was no project management tool or anything like that. It was just my memory was my project management tool. I would write stuff down. It was a nightmare. I don't know how I did it. And then ever since I started upgrading my technology, I feel like revenue grew, we got more clients, everything was easier. And now I'm just always looking for different tech solutions that will make my life easier and my team's life easier too.
I love tech. And I think this is a very exciting time in business when you've got so much tech out there that you can buy off the shelf and it works for you. I think it's an absolute fantastic time. Now, Ethan, where can we find you?
Everybody can connect with me on my website. Definitely is one of my favorite spots, which is indigopromos.com. And definitely, I'm trying to really show off a lot of our projects on social media. So everyone can follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at Ethan Dowie. That's ETHANDOWIE. I try to post there as much as possible about our current projects, how we're just building the business in general, and everything that comes up on a day-to-day basis. People can stop calling it tchotchkes, stop calling it, logoed swag, just to see why branded merch is as important as it is.
You've opened my eyes. I never thought of branded merchandise like it's effective on an exhibition stand. To have you come on the podcast and explain that to me has changed my world in giveaways. I will probably talk to my clients about giveaways. I usually talk them out of them because no one's using them properly. And now I understand there's an effective way to use them. I thank you, Ethan, for opening my eyes.
Absolutely. That is so nice to hear. I think so many people, that's their thought. I see the booths all the time. It's empty, and I'm just like, missed opportunity. Come on, what are we doing here? So it's definitely good to hear. And hopefully, my whole goal as a company is just to keep educating people of this world and get them to see why they can do so much more with merch than they're currently doing, no matter what their budget is.
Yeah. Get in touch with Ethan. He knows his stuff. And I think he can help you plan your next exhibition stand with the giveaways, the merchandise, the swag, whatever you want to call it. He will be able to help you. Ethan, I know it's New York and it's probably cold out there. I don't like the cold either. I hate it, but I feel for you. I hope you have a great Friday afternoon and we'll speak soon.
Thank you so much, Maria. I really appreciate having me on. You're the absolute best.
Thank you.